Iran's new president saying yesterday that Tehran would, quote, definitely retaliate against Israel. Israel-Hamas ceasefire talks reportedly have been halted indefinitely. I want to bring in author of the Phalanx Code and retired U.S. Army Brigadier General Anthony Tata. General Tata, it's great always to speak with you. Your reaction to those comments from Blinken and also what you heard from Trey Yingst a moment ago.
Hey, Cheryl, great to see you. My reaction to Blinken is that he remains the most incompetent Secretary of State that we've ever had. There was no mention of deterrence against Iran. There was no mention of Iran stepping back from the precipice here. It was very much a both sides kind of thing. Everybody's got to de-escalate. Israel is under existential attack here from Hezbollah, from Hamas, from the Shia militia groups that Iran funds, from Iran. Iran has attacked Israel in the last 6 months. And so this administration took off the maximum pressure campaign that President Trump had applied and replaced it with giving billions of dollars, unlocking billions of dollars for Iran that we know has funneled into Hamas, Hezbollah, and those Shia militia groups. And now what this administration has done through their lack of deterrence and in particular with the war in Ukraine, they've allied Russia and Iran, and Russia is spiriting S-300 air defense systems into Tehran at a very rapid pace. So, and that, of course, is to prepare for any kind of Israel counterattack against whatever Iran does. So we are on the brink of something pretty large here, and the ineptitude of the Secretary of State, Vice President Harris, and President Biden could not be more stark.
Well, I was going to ask you about Iran because state media reported that Iran's president asked for air defense systems from Moscow during a meeting with Russia's Security Council yesterday. But you brought up the issue of the lack of enforcement of sanctions against Iran by President Biden and the administration. And that is what has allowed Iran to sell billions of dollars in oil, mostly to China. And the question still remains, and it's fair today like it was 2 years ago, why isn't Biden and the administration clamping further down on Iran? Because all that money is going to fund the proxies and attack Israel, who he keeps saying is our ally. Well, then maybe act like it.
Yeah, Cheryl, it's breathtakingly stupid. The Biden-Harris administration has this fetish with Iran. They don't want to do anything against Iran. They want to keep that JCPOA, Iran nuke deal pathway open. Iran's very close to developing a nuke right now. And by unleashing the sanctions, by removing the sanctions or not enforcing them, you're right. China has bought billions of dollars worth of oil from Iran. Russia has supplied Iran weapons, and North Korea's in the mix. And when I served as the Undersecretary of Defense for Policy under President Trump, those were our four main adversaries in the national defense strategy. And the Harris-Biden regime here has managed to drive them together, open the pathway for them to reinforce one another, and be a very effective axis against Western influence within the region and around the world. It's really, this foreign policy could not be more wrongheaded.
Right. I've got Tricia McLaughlin on set with me, and she has a question for you. Tricia, go ahead.
Thank you, General. I think, of course, the million-dollar question for Americans and the rest of the world is, what will the response be by Hamas and Iran and Hezbollah? That being said, I'd love to ask you more about the calculations. Israel's operational and intelligence are really nothing short of extraordinary. A lot of viewers saw the reports how not only did they strike the leader of Hamas on Iranian soil, but also in the IRGC's own barracks. So can you talk more about the calculations they might be having? Because their own personal safety is very much at risk. The Israel spy agency, the Mossad, clearly has incredible intelligence and operations on the ground in Iran.
Yeah, both really good observations, Tricia. What I would say is that the Iranian regime here with the Shia militia groups and Hezbollah and Hamas are going to try to synchronize an attack from the north, from the south, from the West Bank, from Iran, to overwhelm the Iron Dome. That is Israel's protective measure right now, and what they've been doing, what Israel's been doing, is sometimes a good offense is the best defense, and that explains these strikes against these commanders. And certainly Israel has every right to defend itself, which you don't really hear much from the Harris-Biden administration. They're playing the both sides thing. So you're going to see a phased attack, I believe, and unless this administration can tuck in the U.S. Navy, maybe deploy the 82nd Airborne to a base over there, and then get tough with Iran. But I don't see that happening. We call them flexible deterrent options, and you ratchet them up as tensions escalate. And I don't see that happening from this administration.
Well, at least we have those Navy ships that are in place there. So, I mean, this is our ally, and hopefully, to your point with the Iron Dome, that they don't figure out a way, Iran or Hezbollah doesn't figure out a way to get those weapons in closer so that the Israelis, lose that advantage of lack of surprise, knowing that those missiles are incoming. So I think they're ready for it, though. Tricia made a great point about they are amazing. General Tata, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it.